In Consumer Corner, we'll take a look at trends and products creating a buzz here in China. On today's show, we'll discuss how a recent publication regarding SOE's executive salaries has got the public feeling a bit disenfranchised. The recent publication of a group of figures was seen as an assault on many Chinese citizens' sensibilities of what is just and fair. The SOE's executive salaries in China are 30 times higher than that of ordinary employees, while in other countries, the rate was far less than 20 times, especially in the United States, where the ratio was only 4 times higher. According to Xinhua News Agency, the number of SOE's executives only comprises about 1.3% of SOE's total employees. However, their salary amounts to over 60% of the SOE's total wages and is probably among the highest in international markets. Even in Wall Street, only 20 to 30% of total wages were paid to those executives who held sway over the total world economy. Although the salary seems outlandish given China's economic development status, it's indeed quite a normal thing for people to earn different grades of pay in a market-based economy. However, when the situation is a 139% increase annually in SOE's executive salary, which is far beyond the national finance income growth and GDP growth, people begin to feel something is a bit awry. The Chinese government has put lots of efforts into limiting high salaries provided by SOEs. On September 16, 2009, the government announced a document that restricted the bloated wages of SOE's executives by stipulating that their highest income has to remain no higher than 12 times greater than that of ordinary employees. As usual, the restriction order ended up yielding no results. Only after 2 years after the announcement of the restriction order, those executives' incomes have increased far beyond 12 times higher than that of their ordinary employees. Wang Yukai, the vice chairman of the Institute of Chinese Administrative System Reform, believes that the main cause of social conflict was due to that many people thought they were being paid a relatively high salary, when in fact their salary is a mere fraction of what their company's executives rake in. He also revealed that many SOE's executives have dual identities. Many are also state executives with the responsibility of carrying out their administrative duties. Considering they belong to the state system, there should be no reason for them to be compensated with such a decadent salary. Perhaps this dual identity can explain why it's been so hard for SOE to cut down on the inflated salaries of those SOE executives. It's been an international convention to philanthropically turn over SOE's profits to their native companies. For example, Western companies like Denmark, Finland, and France all paid 80 to 90% of their profits back to their country. Compared to the international conventions of profits turnover, China's SOEs have repaid far less of their profits back to their country. In 2011, central SOEs like tobacco corporations, PetroChina, Sinopec, and electric companies, telecom, coal manufacturers, etc., all turned over about 15% to the Chinese government, while general competitive enterprises like steel, transportation, trade, and construction only turned over about 10%. Military enterprises and scientific research institutions only paid a minuscule 5%. The high proportion of retained dividends has enabled those SOEs to inflate their high monopoly profits, which in turn has brought negative effects down on the entire market economy system. From an international perspective, some Western countries believe that China SOEs just lack the justification to enjoy such high retained dividends, which is one of the reasons why China's position in the international market economy hasn't won much approval on the world stage. Most people voiced their disgust about the state executives' extremely high incomes. A netizen posted on his microblog that, quote, "Most people hate those executives. Not because they earn more salary, but because they simply had to lick some governor's boots to be paid such an exorbitant amount. Not to mention that the stupid system not only controls the employee's salary, but also theirs. In a situation like this, there's no reason for them not to pay themselves a high salary." China has indeed experienced rather quick economic development. Although some notable progress has been made, the problems still remain fixed and implacable. The well-paid executives are not the real reason behind the public unrest, but rather the unfair distribution bulwark is what lies behind most people's indignation. If the government can, in earnest, effectively implement policy related more towards people's well-being, and in doing so also dwindle down those stifling income gaps between the different stratuses of society, Then and only then will the SOEs face less public critique and the environment for development can begin to flourish.